Tired of the same old hot takes and sports cliches? Want a fresh perspective on the world of sports? Then tune into the Fade Route with DNZ, the podcast that's changing the game. Every Wednesday, DNZ bring you insightful analysis.
I would argue that group would be better set in a West Coast offense.
Hilarious banter.
See, people came here for a baseball game.
And a whole lot of fun. Coming at you from the AO Studios. Listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts. The Fade Route with DNZ is not just a podcast, it's a lifestyle. Coming at you from the AO Studios. Order up the numbers game. It is time for us to order up.
Order up, order up.
This week we are continuing our numbers game as we order up the greatest athletes to wear the number 7. 7 has had tons of phenomenal athletes. This was a hard one this week.
Lots of runners up in this one.
Lots of honorable mentions for sure. But there can only be 5. Top number 7. From 5 to 1. What do you got, D?
You never, and it's a hard number to get. Like, my kids are playing baseball now, and usually 7's already on the side for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
It's always a hard one to get. But first up, I'm going with Michael Vick. I mean, he really came on when I was a junior and a senior in high school, and he was playing for Virginia Tech. He was one of the most dynamic quarterbacks that I'd ever seen during my time. I mean, I remember Eric Crouch was during my time, but he kind of was like, whoa, how fast he was, his ability to throw lasers. I mean, he could really throw the ball well. I believe he has the most career rushing yards by a quarterback, 6,100. He did have the most rushing yards in a season for a quarterback, but that was broken by Lamar Jackson. He's still the first quarterback in NFL history to rush for over 1,000 yards. Most rushing yards per carry with a minimum career 150 carries. It's 7 yards per carry. Crazy. He's the only quarterback with multiple 100-yard rushing games in the playoffs. And he's the longest run by a quarterback in overtime, 46 yards run to beat the Minnesota Vikings with a walk-off touchdown. So he was really one of the guys I looked up to when I was in high school and even in college. I was a big fan of his game. I remember he went into Lambeau Field and beat Brett Favre. That was so great when he was with the Falcons. And then he went to jail, came back, and had a nice little career with the Eagles. And that was that Chip Kelly offense that was fire with Deshaun Jackson, with Sean McCoy. And then he went to the Jets, and then he played with the Steelers. But he never was the same after the Eagles. Number 4 on my list is John Elway. I mean, well, probably some people have John Elway higher, but I think of John Elway more for the games he lost than the games he won. He went to some Super Bowls in the 80s, but he didn't win the Super Bowls until the late 90s. Still one of the best athletes, I think, to ever play quarterback. 9-time Pro Bowler, Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 1987 MVP. I mean, he's infamous for, getting drafted by the Colts and saying, I'm not going there. I'm going to go play baseball for the Yankees. And then, he winds up getting to play for Denver. So John Elway is my number 4. My number 3 is Ben Roethlisberger. If you ever have time, go back and watch the Ben Roethlisberger games. I mean, you want to talk about one of the best players ever. When Ben was in his prime, like 05 to 2010, I'd say, man, he was just a problem. He was a big dude. He could run. He could throw. He could take shots. Him going up against Brady and him going up against Manning were just great games. And then Also going up against Baltimore. They used to beat the shit out of him, but he's still a 2-time Super Bowl champion. And the seven Steelers jersey, that's a nice jersey. Number 2 for me is Cristiano Ronaldo. He's one of the best. I mean, 5-time league champion, 7-time domestic league champion, La Liga best player in 2013-2014, 5-time balloon. He's known worldwide. One of the best soccer players ever. And number 1, and he'll be your number 1 too, it's Mickey Mantle. I mean, we talked about Joe D's numbers and we talked about Yogi Berra's numbers. I mean, Mickey Mantle was just absurd. And he batted from both sides of the plate. Hall of Famer, 3-time MVP, Triple Crown, 7-time World Series champion, Golden Glove, batting title. The Mick, there was nothing like him. He's my favorite, probably Yankee of all time. And yeah, what do you got, T?
I mean, good choices. You really can't go wrong with any of them. Roethlisberger for sure is an honorable mention. Michael Vick. But if we go through the list, right, there are a lot of really good players that have worn 7. So baseball, you got Joe Mauer, Kenny Lofton, J.D. Drew, Rocky Colavito, Craig Biggio. You have
Biggio.
So, you have Jose Reyes was good for a while. Mark Belanger was...
He should retire his number.
Well, it's happening eventually. Well, once they get it off of Brett Beatty. So they may be retiring it for Brett Beatty instead. Mark Belanger was a really good defensive shortstop for the Orioles. Then, football, Craig Morton, Boomer. Like, lots of good players. Basketball,
Boomer.
Pistol, Tony Kukoc, Carmelo Anthony. You have lots of players that have donned the number 7. And you have a guy like Bobby Witt Jr. who could be on this list eventually one day, someday, maybe. But you got to beat out a lot of people. You have to beat out a lot of studs in order to be on this list. And then you got hockey. Rod Gilbert, Mr. Ranger. Right? Rod Gilbert didn't make this list. Keith Tkachuk. We talk about Matthew and Brady all the time. Keith Tkachuk was a stud, an absolute stud for years. So this was difficult. This was an absolute difficult task, but pretty well versed. Number 5. I'm going with Pudge Rodriguez. MVP, 14-time All-Star, 2003 World Series champ, 13-time Gold Glover, 7-time Silver Slugger, the NLCS MVP, Hall of Famer, probably on the NBA 75th anniversary team. 296 batting average, 311 home runs, a cannon behind the plate. What more can you ask for from Pudge? He was an all-around player, and he was a problem when you played whatever team he was on. Whether it was the Marlins, the Astros, the Rangers, the Tigers, wherever he was a problem for the other team. Number 4, I'm with you with John Elway. I am there with you with John Elway. Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 1987 AP MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Walter Payton Man of the Year, 1992. Career touchdowns, flat 300. A flat 300 passing touchdowns. About 52,000 passing yards. But nobody had an arm like him. He was a tough dual threat quarterback. He was the mold that Ben Roethlisberger came out of later. Elway was just that big, burly, tough guy that could deliver the punishment, but then he can also, he can take the punishment. If you remember the helicopter, when he got spun in the Super Bowl, Like that is, that's a lasting moment. It's a lasting impression. And John Elway they're still trying to find the next John Elway in Denver. They think they have it in Bo Nix. That's impressive when they're still trying to replace you after you retired in 1999. So John Elway, number 4. Number 3, I got to go Phil Esposito. 717 goals, 873 assists, 1,590 career points, a plus 252 for his career. A plus 252. 2-time Cup winner, 8-time All-Star, 5-time Ross Trophy, 2-time Hart Trophy, 2-time Lester Pearson, NHL 100th anniversary, probably NBA 75th. It's, what can be said about... Take a drink. What can be said about Phil Esposito that hasn't been said about Phil Esposito? Espo was a problem for many years. For many years. And he was just a legend. Narrowly beating out Rod Gilbert. It was a coin toss between him and Rod Gilbert, but then you look at the goals, like not even, nope. We're going to go with Phil Esposito on that one. Our 2s and 1s are the same. Our 2s and 1s are absolutely the same. Cristiano Ronaldo, number 2. When you have 938 career goals, what the hell are you going to say? What am I going to say about Cristiano Ronaldo that can't be said? The only thing that I can knock the guy for is that they made an ugly statue. It was an ugly bust of Cristiano Ronaldo's face. That's about it. But the guy is a consummate goal scorer, and everywhere he's gone, he's produced. Is he the better player than Messi? I don't think so. But it's the idea of the scorer versus the complete player. Right? That's the whole argument for like Magic versus LeBron or Kobe or something like that. You have a pure scorer versus a more complete player. But when you score more than anybody by that significant of an amount, it's pretty good. Pretty good. And then number 1. Was there any doubt? The Commerce Comet, the Mickey freaking Mantle. Absolutely. 3-time MVP, Triple Crown winner, 20-time All-Star. Can I interest you in that? 20-time All-Star. 7-time World Series champ, a Gold Glove, a batting title, and a Major League Player of the Year. 536 home runs for his career, 298 batting average, and he did this with bum knees and an alcohol problem. If he kept it clean and didn't step in that drain, imagine what the hell Mickey Mantle would have been. This is him compromised. Those are his numbers with bum legs and a disease. Like, think about that. That's absurd. It's absurd to me that he was able to do this while battling those demons and battling the chronic pain. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But he did it. Not only did he do it, but he excelled at it. Right? If you think about the movie 61, Billy Crystal did a really good job about that. He really went into the pain that Mickey was going through as he was chasing down Ruth's record. And ultimately, he didn't make it because of an injury. I think it was a hip abscess, if I remember correctly. But, and he even said it himself. If he kept it clean, who knows where he would have been. So as great of an athlete as Mickey Mantle was, he's also one of the more tragic figures too, because he was a victim of his own vice. He wasted his own potential. And ultimately, like, it's a question of what could have been. but What Is was really fucking awesome. Those are our lists. What are yours? Hit us up. FadeRouteMail@gmail.com. Slide in our DMs on IG at FadeRoute Podcast. Drop us a line on X at FadeRouteDNZ and let us know who your favorite number 7 was. It's time for us to run the go route. We'll talk to you next week when we're on to number 8. Thanks for listening to this episode of our podcast. If you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, be sure to like and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Leave us a review, rate us 5 stars, turn on subscription notifications, and share on social media. Tell your friends and spread the word.